taking shots, we alive. From the mountains to the coast, we gon' bring that fire. In the heart of college football, we the ones they admire. Yo, it's game day, stadium packed, feel that rush. From Boise to App State, man, we never hush. Rocking the colors, yeah, we bleed that pride. Cinderella stories, watch our dreams collide. Late nights, bright lights, we grind every play. Underrated talent, we gon' make them say, who's that team when we come to town? Representing for the schools that wear the crown. We in the G5, high, buzzing loud, we thrive. Underdogs rising up, taking shots, we alive. From the mountains to the coast, we gon' bring that fire. In the heart of college football, we the ones they admire. Yo, it's game day, stadium packed, feel that rush. From Boise to App State, man, we never hush. Rocking the colors, yeah, we bleed that pride. Cinderella stories, watch our dreams collide. Late nights, bright lights, we grind every play. Underrated talent, we gon' make them say, who's that team when we come to town? Representing for the schools that wear the crown. We in the G5, high, buzzing loud, we thrive. Underdogs rising up, taking shots, we alive. From the mountains to the coast, we gon' bring that fire. In the heart of college football, we the ones they admire. We the ones they are. Can't skip. Fighting for respect, it's a tough road ahead. But we pack that heart and we never dread. Late hits and big plays, we bring in the heat. Watch out for the G5, we can't be beat. From the MAC to the Sun Belt, we don't back down. In this football jungle, we wear the crown. All the doubt is sleeping, but we making noise. In the G5 Hive, we the realest boys. When the clock's ticking down, we the ones to believe. One play, one chance, we gon' make them achieve. From the sidelines to the end zone, hear that roar. In the G5 Hive, we always wanting more. We in the G5 Hive, buzzing loud, we thrive. Underdogs rising up, taking shots, we alive. From the mountains to the coast, we gon' bring that fire. In the heart of college football, we the ones they admire. So raise your flags high, let them wave in the air. In the G5 Hive, we the squad that's rare. With heart and grit, we rewriting the script. In the world of college football, we the ones they can't skip.
Forward, gets out of a tackle, now turns on the Jets, up to the 30, the 20, 10, 5, Torrey Horton back to the end zone.
48-yard play, guess who? Body, up the middle, making another move, to the outside, 15, 10, end zone again.
Keeps it, nice move by Brown, he's got space, he's got 6. 35-yard touchdown for Byron Brown, a record-setting night for the South Florida quarterback.
So far, a little bit of a high snap. Genty right up the middle. Genty has room. Ashton Genty, give him 6.
Second and long. Lagar tries to fit it in. Runnels, it does. Runnels stays up. The Suns offense 4-3 wheels. Incredible effort for Royals.
The G5 Hive. All G5, all the time.
Welcome to the G5 Hive Live. We're excited to bring you G5 college football coverage you love each and every week. I'm Luke, and I'm here with my co-host, Justice. That's 4 weeks in a row. I've got the finger pointing right just in time for the end of the season. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're watching us on X, please give us a follow, a like, and a retweet. And if you're listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review. If you need anything to help you with that rate and review, I am wearing a shirt that says, "Hey, hungry, I'm Dad." Father's Day gift for my kids. All right. The G5 Hive merchandise store is now live. Link is in the YouTube comments, as well as pinned on our X page in the bottom of the screen here. How's it going, Justice?
Good, man. How are you doing? I am, I don't know, I'm a little worn out. I've been baking cookies for the last 5 hours. I started at 5 o'clock. I literally finished at 10 o'clock.
Are you getting ready for Santa? Are you asking for a pretty big gift? Is that why?
No, I only asked for 2 gifts: a jacket and the college football video game. That's the only gifts I asked for. So, yeah. I bake cookies, give them as part of my gifts to my family members. So I don't know.
Gotcha.
I probably made 12, 13 dozen cookies.
That's in icing and sprinkles, or like are they
No,
cookies? Like
no.
what do we got here?
I make kitchen sink cookies. You ever had a Panera Bread kitchen sink cookie?
No.
It's pretty good. Next time you go to Panera, get one. But yeah, it's got chocolate chips. It's got pieces of toffee in it. It's got chunks of pretzel in it. It's got salt on the top. Yeah, it's some salt and some sweet. It's good stuff.
I have been busy with just everything that goes with having little kids. If you can, remember back to those days.
Well, it doesn't get better, Luke. I'm gonna tell you what, because I was gonna bake cookies last night, so I didn't have to do it today. And I bought all the ingredients, bought everything. Well, I don't know, like 3 o'clock, my daughter comes home and says, "Oh, my friends are coming over. We're baking cookies tonight." And I'm like, "Oh, great. Well, number one, like, there goes my plan to bake cookies. Number two, like, I tell her, make sure you buy all your own ingredients, right?" So, well, she did, kind of, sort of. She bought ingredients to make like one batch of cookies. She made 4 batches of cookies. Because like the first one, they used a tablespoon instead of a teaspoon of all those ingredients. The second batch, they forgot to put sugar in it. And then they burn a batch. And like it was like, I don't know, man. It was like, yeah, it wasn't good. She used some of my ingredients, and she didn't say anything about it. So I started making mine, and then I'm like, well, crap, I don't have enough. I had to stop and go to the grocery store, buy more stuff, come back home. Fun times, man.
Yeah. We started doing that elf on a shelf thing.
I don't miss those days, brother. I don't miss those days.
Like there was something we hadn't done, and then like that was the thing my son like asked for Santa. It's elf on a shelf, and he's supposed to go away on Christmas, like Christmas Eve. Then he goes back because he's supposed to give you reports every night and all this stuff. And it's like, well, if we get him that for Christmas, like he's not gonna get him for another year. So like once we heard that request, we got that. So we've been doing some of that, and can't wait till I can wake up at like 4 a.m, tell my kids to go back to sleep, and maybe wake up at 5 and maybe take a nap at like 8 a.m. or something, because I've had a full day.
Yeah, fortunately for me, like elf on the shelf wasn't big for my kids. Like I think we only dealt with it for 2, maybe 3 years before they like the gig was up. So we didn't have to do it too long.
But I don't have to assemble anything. That's the big thing. I don't have to assemble a dollhouse. I don't have to assemble this. I don't have to assemble. So like that is probably what I'm most thankful for.
I would do all that way in advance. I will never forget the year my daughter got the Barbie Dream House. Thank God I did that in advance, because like it took me like, I don't know, I feel like it took me like 7-8 hours to put that thing together. There's no way I could have did that the night before.
Yeah.
It was like my daughter got the Barbie Dream House, and like my son got like this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle lair thing. Wasn't as bad as the Barbie Dream House, but still. When I'm gonna show my age a little bit, but when my sister was little, sister's younger than me, she got a Glamour Girls cruise ship, and my mom didn't get done putting, and my mom put it together the night of. Mom was a single parent, and I think my mom didn't get done till like 6 in the morning. And she told us that story, so I always remembered that. And so with my kids, if I had stuff to put together, it happened days before, and I got hidden somewhere.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, people probably don't want to hear about our Christmas stuff. We got football to talk about. So let's get into it. The G5 Hive Players of the Week 2024 bold performances from this last week. Offensive Player of the Week for myself. I took Ohio wide receiver Coleman Owen. Find someone in your life that looks at you the way Parker Navarro looks at Coleman Owen. Coleman had 11 receptions for 140 yards in the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. You had this feeling that he was going to get every pass, and like they were just going to him early and often. He was always open, and as I mentioned earlier, he had 11 receptions. The Bobcats had 19 receptions as a team. That's 57.9% of the team's receptions. Now, a tweet put out there by Robert Keegan said that Coleman Owen broke the Ohio program record for receiving yards in a season. The previous record was held by Levon Brazil with 1,146 yards back in 2021 or 2011. Sorry. Coleman Owen ended the season with 1,216 yards receiving. Congratulations to Coleman on the game and going down in Ohio record books.
Well, I didn't stray too far with my player of the week, quarterback Parker Navarro. Man, like he has just looked phenomenal. The last 2 times he's played in the MAC championship game and once again the bowl game, he was just outstanding. He was 19 for 28 with 254 yards and a touchdown through the air, while adding 111 yards and 3 touchdowns rushing on the ground. Parker continued the magical run for the Bobcats and led them to a victory over Jacksonville State in the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. Congratulations, Parker and the Bobcats, on the bowl victory. My defensive player of the week is cornerback Jalen Jimerson from the Sam Houston Bearcats. Jalen turned in a strong performance this week, 10 tackles, 4 solos, 1 tackle for loss, 2 interceptions, including a 29-yard pick six to get the scoring started for the Bearcats and giving them a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. Jalen's performance was instrumental in leading the Bearcats to their first ever bowl victory as an FBS team, defeating Georgia Southern in the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Congrats to Jalen on the great performance and to all the Bearcats on their first bowl victory.
I went with UNLV safety Jet Elad. Jet had 11 total tackles on the night. 8 of those were solo. He also had a pass deflection and a huge fumble recovery. The fumble recovery occurred in the third quarter, and the game was close. UNLV had the 14-13 lead over Cal. UNLV had a sack fumble on a 3rd and 7 on Cal's 33-yard line. Jet was there for that fumble recovery. That change of possession resulted in a one-play, 23-yard touchdown run by Kylan James to put UNLV up 21-13. They would go on to win the Art of Sport LA Bowl over Cal by the final score of 24-13. So huge fumble recovery. Congratulations, Jet. All right. What are some news and notes? What does the Swarm need to know?
Don't have a lot this week because we're not really talking about portal stuff. There's been a lot of interesting portal things in terms of folks leaving and folks coming to the G5, but we will cover all that at a later time. So mostly just kind of coaching news. So the first piece of coaching news: Jacksonville State has named Charles Kelly as their next head coach. He was most recently the co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach at Auburn. Sam Houston has named Phil Longo as this next head coach for the Bearcats. He was a Bearcats OC from 2014 to 2016, and he's been the OC at North Carolina and Washington the last in between.
Wisconsin.
So I'm sorry, Wisconsin. I said Washington,
Yeah.
didn't I?
Yeah, no problem. We got
it. Yeah, North Carolina. He's the offensive coordinator at North Carolina and Wisconsin most recently. No surprise, Ohio interim head coach and offensive coordinator Brian Smith has officially been named as the next head coach of the Ohio Bobcats. Ohio had a magical run this year. Coach Smith was a big part of that. He led the team in the interim after Tim Albin left the day after they won the MAC championship, led them to a bowl victory, and they didn't have a single player enter the portal until after their bowl game. That in and of itself is pretty impressive. It just kind of shows, I think, the respect the players had for Coach Smith. Colorado State names Tyson Summers as its next defensive coordinator. He was formerly the defensive coordinator for Western Kentucky for the past 3 seasons. He was also a defensive coordinator at Colorado State previously in 2015 under then head coach Mike Bobo. And the final piece of coaching news, Luke Schleusner has been named the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for New Mexico. He follows head coach Jason Eck over from Idaho, where he served as their offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. All right, this last piece of news is pretty big. It happened late last week, and then there were some more developments today. So I think we talked about this previously, but Vanderbilt quarterback who was at New Mexico State before that, and before that was at JUCO, he sued the NCAA, saying that his JUCO years and the age of NIL, because I guess JUCO players can't earn NIL earnings. I think that was the basis of it, but basically saying that JUCO years don't count. Well, that hearing happened last week, and Pavia won. The judge ruled in his favor, which meant Diego Pavia got another year of eligibility. At that time, the NCAA said, hey, we're going to appeal, but also this ruling only applies to Diego Pavia because he was the only one in that lawsuit. I don't know if we talked about it last week or not, but
I think we just brought it up.
My opinion of that was like, that's just insane, because all you're doing is encouraging. Basically, what you're saying is all the rest of you JUCO players need to come sue me, and that's just bad press. I don't know. Made zero sense to me why you would do that. But that was the stance last week. Well, today, I guess they finally wised up and said, yeah, anybody that's has JUCO years, you gain a year of eligibility, but we are appealing this decision. But it brings up a very interesting point. So now you got lots of guys that play junior college that have at least 1 year, possibly 2 years of eligibility remaining, depending on how many years they played JUCO. The interesting thing to me about this is I don't know how fast this appeal will work through the process, right? And so teams have to make decisions on personnel. And so I feel like and players are going to enroll in college, right? And so you're going to have these guys enroll in school in January, provided they haven't already graduated, and then you're going to, what's the NCAA going to do at that point? Like, are they going to say,
I feel at this point, from a college standpoint, not an NCAA, just like a team staffing, personnel wise, I don't know if you can take on anybody, because then they might become ineligible.
Well, that's my point. I'm wondering if the NCAA doesn't do that, because that's kind of crazy to pull the rug out in July or August.
Yeah, but also all right, if the player's already at the school, they just can't transfer. And hey, you wanted a year of eligibility, but then you have to stay at whatever school you are currently at.
Well, they wouldn't necessarily.
Because then they're already at the school, and all this stuff. But then, I'm trying to think. I think they went to like 103 scholars or 103 roster spots.
105.
So like, I don't know. It's messy. It continues to get messy. I'm just not going to worry about it until something else comes out. Like, there's just.
I mean, to me, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I feel like on one hand, like the NCAA's at this point is going to, or at least unless they get this appeal heard, like in the next, I don't know, 3 weeks, then they're going to have to let these guys have eligibility. Because can you imagine all the bad press they're going to get? All these guys enroll in school, go through spring practices, and then come July, you tell them, too bad, so sad. Like, well, that's gonna cause a lot of issues and a lot of bad press for the NCAA. So I feel like at some point there's going to be a drop dead date where the NCAA is just going to let it happen.
Well, the other thing
of the appeal or not.
Like, I'm all about like, if players want to play more, than like, so be it. But like the whole basis of, in the NIL era, hey, you're like, I was in JUCO and I didn't get that money. Well, how about the people that weren't in JUCO and still didn't get that money? It's no different than I got hired back 10 years ago, and I got hired for X amount of dollars, and now the new bring-in price is this much. Well, it's like when I want my raise, I want that much. Well, it's just like not how it always works.
So see, I think part of the argument is that JUCOs aren't governed by NCAA. They got their own governing body. So to me, and I don't know if the lawsuit covers this, but like, it's kind of like, to me, a guy goes to prep school, right? Like a Fork Union Military Academy. That doesn't count against his years of eligibility. And so, I mean, to me, that's part of the argument why JUCO doesn't count, but I don't know. It's just crazy. And it's going to, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what the NCAA does with this appeal, because it could leave some players and, possibly, some teams high and dry come, July or August, depending on how fast this appeal happens, which makes me believe like they're just going to let it happen.
It kind of feels like the ruling happened relatively fast, though.
It did. The ruling did happen fast, much faster than I expected. So yeah, but I don't know. I mean, like, you could see like this appeal process taking a lot longer. I don't know.
Yeah, because
it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Even if it, there's a appeal and gets overturned, then there'll be another appeal. Like, there'll be like all sorts of appeals. Like, it'll just keep going.
It'll be interesting to see like how the schools handle it, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe they handle it from the perspective of, we'll have like maybe one or two of those guys, but that's it. That way they're not like left holding the bag with a half dozen or so players that could be gone. But there's some interesting names that would have it, like, Rice running back Dean Connors. If he chose to have it, he'd have another year of eligibility. There's a lot of other players like Caden Robinson, App State, same thing. So it's gonna be interesting to kind of see what happens with this moving forward and how the teams themselves handle it. What's up, Brett? How you doing, man? Thanks. Glad to see you. Thanks as always for your support. We appreciate it. That's really gonna do it for news and notes. Like I said, we'll kind of get into the portal stuff starting probably sometime in January once the portal closes and we know where a lot of folks end up going.
Come back and join us next week as we discuss what happened in the G5 bowl games, as well as look forward to the next set of G5 bowl games, as we always bring you up to date on the latest news and happenings in the world of G5 college football. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're watching us on X, please give us a retweet, a like, and a follow. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please subscribe and leave those 5-star ratings and review. Thank you all for your support. Until the next time, we are the G5 Hive.
First